Session 3.3 Measures of Relative Standing and Boxplots. Session 3.1 we study measure of center, mean, median to describe the center of distribution. However, if the data set has a lot of spread, it is useful to compute measures of positions other than the center to get a more detailed description of the distribution. First, let's talk about the percentiles. I'm sure we have all heard expressions like Ryan scored in the 90th percentile of the exam. But that doesn't mean that Ryan earned 90% on the test. The 90 percentiles means that 90% of test scored are less than Ryan's score, and the other 10% of the test score are greater than Ryan's test score. Percentile divide a data set into hundreds parts. So just look at this picture. Emergent, I cut it equally with 100 parts in here. Each part is about like 1%. So this one here, we call this as the P1. Okay, so 1% in here. This is 5. So this is the P5. And it's about like 5% including from here. For example, we do have a 60 percentile, so that would be equal to P60. Okay, so somewhere like here. Has about 60% of the data values below it. So this part, we do have a 60% of the data below P60. And about 40% of the data above it. Okay, this is meaning percentiles. So how can we find the percentile of a data value? We're going to apply this formula. You're going to count number of the values below the x divided by total number of the values and then times 100. And make sure you're going to round your result to the nearest whole number. Example 1. Table below lists the same airport advisor cell phone data speed. They already shot the data, okay? They put it like the smallest one first. And then find the percentile for the data speed of 11.8. First, I want you guys try to find out where is the 11.8. Should be like here. And then we're gonna apply the formula. We need to find out number of the values below x. So number of the data below 11.8 divided by total number of data. Okay, how many data for total here? So you can count, that will be 10 data for each row. So 10, 20. We do have a 20 data below 11.8. And then divided by total number of the data, which is gonna be 50. And then we're gonna find it out, 20 divided by 50 times 100 equal to 40. So we know that the data of 11.8 will be the 40 percentile. So P40 equal to 11.8. Now, let's try this one. B. Find the percentile of the data speed of 15. So 15, like here. I want you guys try to do it by yourself. Count how many data below it, divided by total number of the data, and then times 100. Okay, you should get 28, right? 10, 20, and then 8 data here. So 28 divided by 50 times 100 equal to 56. So we know that the data speed of 15 will be 56 percentile. Okay, now let's talk about the quartiles. Quartiles divided the data set into 4 parts, 4 equal parts. So the first quartile we call Q1 is the value so that 25% of the data values are below it and 75% of the data values up above it. Okay, we do have a Q1. Second quartile, Q2, or you can call the median. Remember the session 3.1? We learned how to find the median already. This is gonna be exactly equal to your Q2. It's the value so that 50% of the data values below it, 50% of the data above it. And then Q3, the third quartile, that will be 75% of the data below it and 25% of the data above it. So quartiles divides the data into quarters, such as 25% of the data is between the minimum value and the Q1. 25% of the data is between Q1 and the median, and 25% of the data is between the median and the Q3. And 25% of the data is between Q3 and the maximum. So let's look at this picture. I assume the data will be the normal distribution. So I'm gonna divide it into 4 equal parts. Each part will be about like 25%. So the first one here, this is called the first quartile, Q1. And then when I cut it half, this is a 50% data below it, 50% of the data above it. So we call this is gonna be your Q2, or you can call this is gonna be the median. And then last one here, that will be the Q3. Okay? And then last one, the IQR, interquartile range, that will be equal to Q3 minus the Q1. It's the range of the middle 50% of the observation in the data set. So I need you guys to remember how to find the IQR. Okay, IQR, that will be equal to Q3 minus the Q1. Okay, so talking about here, Q3 minus the Q1. And then quartiles are 25, 50, and 75 percentile. So Q1 equal to 25 percentile, Q2 equal to 50, and then Q3 that will be equal to 75 percentile. Okay, 5 number summary. 5 number summary are the values. We do have the minimum, Q1, median or Q2, Q3, and the maximum. You guys need to know how to find the 5 number summary. On the exam, I will ask you guys, find the 5 number summary. You're gonna know we are looking for these 5 guys. So, how to find the 5 number summary? Let n be the number of the values in the given data set. First, we write the data set from the smallest to the largest. Okay, make sure you're gonna sort the data. And then observe the smallest value, and this is gonna be the minimum. Okay, after you sort the data, the smallest value will be the minimum. Okay, that will be this guy. And then we're gonna find the median or second quartile. Compute the locator. Okay, the L equal to 0.5 times n. One more time, n talking about total number of the data. Okay, L equal to 0.5 times n. If your L is a decimal value, then round it up to the nearest whole number. We always round it up. Even though you have a 3.01, you're gonna round it up to 4. And then use the data value in the round up L position. But if your L is a whole number, then find the mean of the data values in the L and the L plus 1 position. Okay, step 4, find out the Q1, compute the locator. So L equal to 0.25. You could think about it. If we want to find the median, since median means 50% of the data below it, 50% of the data above it. So you're gonna see the equation will be L equal to 0.5 times n. And when Q1 is 25%, right? So that will be L equal to 0.25 n. Q3 also. Q3 means 75% of the data below it. So the equation will be L equal to 0.75 n. Okay, we're gonna try to do a couple examples. Example 2. The data of 16 randomly select weights in pounds of models from a model agency. Find the 5-number summary and include the interquartile range, IQR. Okay, after you find the 5-number summary, find out the IQR. So look at the data. They sort the data already from the smallest one to the largest one. Then let's try to find the Q2. Okay, second quartile. So we do have the formula L equal to N times 0.5. So N, how many number of the data are here? You could count it, or they already told you it's gonna be 16. Okay, so L equal to 16 times 0.5, which is gonna be 8. Okay, after you find your L equal to a whole number, okay, 8 is a whole number. What are you gonna do? You're gonna find the mean of the data values in the L and the L plus 1 position. So we have L equal to 8. This is the whole number. Means we want to find the average of the position of 8 and 9. Okay, the L, that will be the locator of your data. So position of 8 and 9, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 8 and 9 is gonna be here. And then we want to find the average of these two data. So Q2 will be equal to 110 plus 110 divided by 2, which is gonna be 110 here. Now, let's try to find the Q1. Formula for the Q1 will be equal to L equal to N times 0.25. So plug it in, N equal to 16. So you should get 4 here. Again, 4 is the whole number. So we're gonna count it from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are looking for 4 and 5. So that will be your Q1, okay? Add it up, divided by 2. Then last one, the Q3. Q3, L equal to N times 0.75, which is gonna be 12. So you're looking for the position of 12 and 13, okay? That will be here. So add it up, divided by 2, that will be your Q3. And then minimum, that will be the smallest value on the data. So that will be 85. And then the maximum, which is going to be 138. So we have the minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, and then the maximum. Okay, write it down to your 5-number summary. Okay, after you find the 5-number summary, you can find the IQR, the interquartile range. So that will be Q3 minus Q1. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys for the next example how to find the IQR. But now we're gonna know checking for outliers by using quartiles. If I have a data set, I want to determine if that is outlier. So we're gonna follow for this step. First, after you find the Q1 and Q3, you're gonna find your IQR. Okay, Q3 minus the Q1. Then you're gonna determine the friends, the lower friends and the upper friends. Lower friends will be Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. And then upper friends will be equal to Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. After you find the lower fence and upper fence, look at the data values. If the values less than the lower fence or more than the upper fence, then that would be the outliers. Example 3. Let's look at the example 2. Are there any outliers? So how can we determine if there's outlier? First, we're gonna find out the IQR, which is gonna be Q3 minus the Q1. So we have this guy, 23.5. And then we're gonna determine the lower friends. Okay, LF, lower friends. use the formula Q1, which is going to be 91.5 minus 1.5 times your IQR. So you're going to get 56.25. How about upper friends? That will be Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. So plug it in. You're gonna get 150.25. Okay, so lower friends is 56.25, like somewhere like here. And then upper friends 150.25, like here. So that's no data less than 56.25 or no data that is greater than 150.25. So we can say all the data are within the fence and there are no outliers. Okay, this is how you guys use your TI-84 calculator to find the 5-number summary. Okay, now let's try to use the calculator together. Let's work on example 2. Find the 5-number summary. So first, click on the stat. Click on number 1, added. We're gonna input the data set on the L1. Okay, make sure you do have a 16 datas. And then just like finding the means and the standard deviation, you're gonna click on the stat, go to cal, choose one variable statistic. My data is gonna be on L1, so second one for L1. And then go to calculate. So scroll down. You're gonna see we do have the 5-number summary here. Minimum 85, Q1 91.5, median, which is gonna be your Q2 110, and Q3 115, maximum 138. Okay, this is how we find the 5-number summary. Boxplot, also called box whisker plots, give a good graphical image of the concentration of the data. Additionally, Boxplots shows the extreme values and the distance from most of the data. So this is just the regular Boxplot. You do have the minimum here, Q1, Q2, Q3, and also the maximum on this point. So we can use the 5-number summary to construct the Boxplot. Example 4. Every 6 months, the United States Federal Reserve Board conducts a survey of credit card plans in the United States. The following data are the interest rate charged by 10 credit cards issuers, randomly select for the July 2005 survey. Determine the 5-number summary of the data from the calculator. Okay, I want you guys try to use your calculator, input this data to your L1 or L2, and then find out the 5-number summary. Be careful that you could see the data is not arranged from the smallest to the greatest one. Okay, if you do it with the formula, you may want to sort the data first. Okay, click on the stat, number 1. And then this time I'm gonna put in the L2. I teach you guys how to sort the data. So you could click on the stat, click on number 2. I want to sort the data for the L2. So second 2 for L2. When they say done, go back to the stat, number 1, and then you're gonna see the L2, they arrange it from the smallest to the largest value already. Okay, now we try to use this data to find the 5-number summary. Click on the stat, go to the cal, click on number 1. This time my data is going to be on L2, so second 2 for L2. Go to calculate. So you will see minimum 6.5, 12, Q1, medium is 13.6, Q3 will be 14.4, maximum will be 14.5. Okay, so write it down. Steps for constructing a Boxplot. Here are the steps teach you guys how to use the 5-number summary to construct a Boxplot. Let's try on this example. Number of absence in January 2008 in the middle school. So I do have the data here. And the data is already arranged from the smallest to the largest one. So first, find the 5-number summary for the regular Boxplot. So I want you guys try to use the formula to find out the 5-number summary. So Q2, find out the median. L equal to N times 0.5. So you gotta count how many datas are here. You should get 22. And then when your L get the 11, 11 is a whole number, right? So you are looking for the position of 11 and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 11 and 12, that would be 51. So I want to find the average of these two data. So add it up, divided by 2. So your Q2 is going to be equal to 51. Okay, now let's try to find the Q1. L equal to N times 0.25. Plug it in, you're going to get 5.5. When you get the decimal, first, try to round it up. Okay, always round it up, so that will be equal to 6. So you want to find the position of 6. Okay, only 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my Q1, that will be equal to 45. Okay, one more time. Once you find the L equal to the whole number, then you need to find the average of the position with the L and L plus 1. But if you find it with the decimal number, you always round it up. Then just find that position of that specific number. Okay? Q3. Try. You should get 16.5. And this is gonna be the decimal. So you want to round it up to 17. So find the position of 17. So count it. That's a 12 here, right? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that will be 59. And minimum will be 41. Maximum, that will be 100. So this is gonna be your 5-number summary. Okay, feel free to use your calculator to check your work. Okay, you do have a 22 data. So click on the stat, cal, number 1. And then second 3 for L3, calculate. So scroll down, you're gonna find 5-number summary, 41, 45, 51, 59, and 100. So this is good. And then B, find the lower friends and the upper friends. Find the outlier if exists. So first, find out the IQR. Q3 minus the Q1. You should get 14. And then, lower friends will be Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. I want you guys try. Find out the lower friends and the upper friends. Okay, check your work. Upper friends, that will be Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. So you should get 80. After you find the lower friends and upper friends, you can find the outlier. Okay, so lower friends is going to be 24. 24 is going to be somewhere like here. And then upper friends will be 80. 80, so it's going to be cutting at this part. So any data less than 24 or greater than 80, that will be the outlier. So 100, that will be your outlier. Okay, C, find the maximum, minimum, and then construct a modified box plot. We learned what is the regular box plot. Regular box plot is just you find out the 5-number summary and then construct the box plot. When you want to construct the modified box plot, means you want to see if they do have any outliers. So from the part B, we already found out we have an outlier equal to 100. After we find out the outlier is 100, then we want to figure out the minimum and maximum again. Okay, minimum doesn't change, we still have a 41 here. But maximum, right now, that will become 77 because 100, that will be the outlier. Okay, now construct a modified box plot. So I'm gonna put the scale. So you're gonna see the smallest number will be 41, so that's why I start at 40. And then including the outlier, that will be 100 here. So I will have a 40, 60, 80, and 100. First, minimum, 41. Okay, I'm gonna put it here. And then Q1. Q1 we got 45 from the part A. Q2, that will be 51 here. Q3, that will be 59. And then maximum will be 77. Last one, outlier will be 100. And then we're gonna construct the rectangular box using Q1, Q2, Q3. And then we're gonna draw the line starting from the minimum until to the maximum here. So this is gonna be your box plot, but we are not done yet because we do have the outlier here. So we're gonna put the star here to represent it. Okay, one more time, modified box plot means you want to see if they do have the outliers. And this is the instruction. Teach you guys how to find the 5-number summary and also how to construct the modified box plot. So you guys can follow this instruction. Okay, go back to the calculator. So we just input the data to the L3, right? And then we find out the 5-number summary. So now we want to construct the modified box plot. So do it one more time. Click the stat, go to the cal, number 1 variable statistic. The list is gonna be L3, enter. Okay, right? And then we're gonna starting from here. We're gonna click on clear. go to the second y equal to for the step port. Okay, make sure everything is gonna be off. I want to turn on the first one. Hit enter. And then I'm gonna choose the fourth icon. You could see the dot here. The fourth icon, that will be the modified box plot. The fifth one, that will be the regular box plot. Enter. And then my list is gonna be on L3. So second 3 for L3. The mark doesn't matter, up to you guys which one you're gonna pick. After you're done, you're gonna click zoom. Go down to the number 9, zoom step. So you will see your modified box plot here. And then you can click on the trace. The trace is on the top here. So you're gonna see the first one, the minimum is gonna be 41. Use the arrow button, go to the right. 45 will be Q1, Q2 51, Q3 59, maximum will be 77. And then this one, that will be your outlier, 100. Okay. Determine skewness from a box plot. So look at this picture. I do have the histogram here, and then I use this data to construct the box plot. The cos here means they do have the outlier in here. And then we say if the median means the Q2, Q2 is closer to the first quartile than the third quartile, or the upper whisker is longer than the lower whisker, then the data are skewed to the right. Okay, skewed to the right means the white tail is longer. Second case, if the Q2 is close to the Q3 than the Q1, or the lower whisker is longer than the upper one, then the data are the skew to the left. So left tail is longer. Last one, if the Q2 is in between Q1 and Q3, and then the two whiskers are approximately equal in length, then we're gonna say this is gonna be approximately symmetric. It will be looks like the normal distribution. That's it.